Hey guys, so this is just a quick tutorial video of a lap of Summit Point Kart. This is a lap of 58.699 and it was run on August 18th, 2012 in the Sodi RX7 kart. So here we are on the front straightaway approaching turns 1 and 2, which is just a slight kink to the right and then to the left. So you're going to apex the first one on the red and yellow curbs. The second one, you can apex it on the curb, or you can run half a cart width or a cart width wide, like I do here, to help with the setup for turn 3. So now we're approaching turns 3 and 4, which are a moderate speed left, linked straight into a moderate speed right. So I'm going to track out all the way to the outside here over the white line and lift right about at this point where I'm crossing over this dark painted strip. And in this kart, I'm going to brake moderately here. In some karts you might be able to just lightly brake or even just lift and let the scrubbing effect slow you down. But you definitely want to lift or brake early, probably earlier than you expect, because the key here is to not overdrive turn 3, which will mess up turn 4. Now we're approaching the apex of turn 3, and you can see if I can hold a straight line from here, I can go straight from the exit of turn 3 straight to the apex of turn 4, and if I can do that, I can go flat out from this point on. You can imagine if I missed the apex of 3 or carried too much speed and washed up, I'd end up in this section of the track to the right and I'd have to slow down to bring the kart back online to make turn 4, which will cost a lot of time. So now we're approaching turn 5. It's a moderate speed left, which is flat out or just a slight crack of the throttle on turn in. And here, as we're approaching the apex, you can see there's a transition from the normal asphalt to the sealed surface, and the sealed surface is more slippery, so the key to this corner is to not slide out the rear on exit, which will hurt your momentum through the next series of 4 or 5 corners, which are all flat out or close to flat out. So basically I try to feel the kart and let it track out to where it needs to. So like if you feel it about to bind up, you want to open up the steering more and let it track out more. Here I track out to about the white line. If I need to, I can track out so I'm kind of straddling the white line, or go out till my left side tires are about on the white line. Wider than that, the track does get more slippery, so you don't want to go too wide. And then the exit of 5 just leads to turn 6, which is just this straightforward, flat out left kink. So that leads us now to the approach of turns 7, 8, and 9, which are another important series of corners. And the key to this series, I feel, is how you get through and out of turn 9. So 7 and 8 are flat out, and they're all about positioning yourself right for turn 9. So the ideal line is the shortest distance. So that would be turning in about right here and cutting a straight line through turns 7 and 8. So I find this works good for a slow kart, but in a fast kart like this, I feel like it puts me in a bad position for turn 9. So here you see I take a bit of a wider entry into 7, and then I apex 7 on the curbs, and then for 8 I run about a cart width wide of the curb to set up for turn 9. Okay, now at about this point, somewhere between turns 8 and 9, I roll out of the throttle, and then I modulate it all the way through turn 9, never really getting completely out of it, keeping the kart planted. Then on exit, don't track out all the way, because you can see you have a right hairpin coming up that you have to set up for. And also don't let the rear step out too much, because that'll hurt your momentum. And staying in the throttle and just modulating it through the corner should help with that. So here's turn 10, the right hairpin. Even though it's very sharp, you aren't actually carrying a lot of speed here, so you can actually take it flat out or with just a slight lift on turn in. So we turn in, apex, and then track out. And just make sure to not let the kart step out on exit. You can run a little wide here if you need to, as long as you can still bring the kart back before the next turn. So turn 11 is pretty straightforward, but I do have one piece of advice. Don't bother tracking out right for the entry, because you can easily take the turn flat out, straight from the inside white line. So I see a lot of people bring the kart out to the right, and it's just covering more distance and giving up time. So now we approach the chicane, which I feel is the place where you can gain or lose the most time, and also I find the most difficult part of the track for me. I do see a variety of lines through here, a lot of which all seem to work. So the first part is turning flat out and hit the first apex right on the barrier. And then I see some people kind of follow this white line to the outside a bit and then turn in late and set up for a straight shot out of the chicane. I like to lift here, turn in a little earlier, and then hold a bit of a tighter line here. And I dab the brake if necessary if I'm in a fast kart or understeering kart. And here you can see I missed the second apex, but not by that much. But that's okay, because the key is really to hit the third apex right on the tire barrier up ahead, which I'm already aiming for at this point. So here I've kind of slid the kart in, and I'm right on the barrier here and at an angle so I can just drive straight off the chicane. So this is kind of difficult because if you hit the inside barrier you lose speed, but if you miss it wide you really have to slow down and to make it around the last set of tires, and if you're not careful you can easily go straight into the tires. But if you hit it right you can gain a lot of time here. So next here is turn 12. It's a flat out high speed left, and the key really is just positioning yourself on the exit. I like to go out to about the white line here. If you go too wide it's really bumpy and you can get into a really severe hop. If you hold it too tight, then you don't set yourself up well for the hairpin ahead. So then you're going to approach this left, which leads straight into a sharp right hairpin. It's the slowest turn on the track, 18 miles an hour, so you really want to focus on getting out of there with as much speed as possible. So that means a late apex for the left, and hold it tight to the left on the exit, right on the white line, or at most one kart width off of it. So then if you set yourself up well, you should be able to turn in almost flat out for the hairpin. And if your timing is good, you can even use the weight transfer as you're transitioning from turning left to right to help the kart turn in. And then through the hairpin, just modulate the throttle if necessary. You don't want to scrub and understeer up towards the barrier on the exit. That will cost you time, and you definitely don't want to slide and park it on the exit. And so now we enter the carousel, which is pretty easy since we're going so slow out of the hairpin. So flat out, I like to just bring it down gradually to the curb here, onto the curb. Generally doesn't upset the kart. And then the final turn is just a slight kink to the right. I like to just miss the curb here because I find it sometimes upsets the kart and scrubs a little speed when you hit it. And then down the front straight, some guys will let the kart drift all the way to the left. That covers a little more distance, but in theory, maybe you scrub a little less speed. Some guys hold it real tight to the right, which is the shortest distance. I'm kind of in the middle here, more towards the right usually. And that's the lap. Hopefully this helped you. Feel free to leave a comment if it did, or ask any questions you have. And I'm not the fastest, so if you think you have a faster way or better way, definitely let me know too. And I'll just replay the whole lap at full speed, uninterrupted, if you want to see it again. And thanks for watching.